What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mike Show featuring also Billtendo. That's in small quotations. I am Billtendo, your co host. This episode brought to you by Billtendo.com because nobody would ever sponsor us. Check it out. And we have our host, the CEO of Reddit and Yelp,
No, that's
Mike.
one thing. Reddit, Yelp. I
Reddit,
do I do product reviews on Reddit. It's one
yep.
thing. Yeah. So I monitor people's businesses on Reddit like Yelp. It's Reddit Yelp. It's like a subreddit of
Is,
online products on Reddit in the style of Yelp.
is this a real thing you're talking about?
Yeah. I had to go in and monitor people talking about you on Reddit today. So I of course took over power and became the CEO. So
Well, people are always going to complain about things they don't understand. I offer a service for people that don't want to do things themselves. You want to get a
if you're
good.
gonna talk about it, just do the whole story, Billy. Like we're already here. The show's already recording. Just if you want to talk about it, just do it.
All right, let's talk about it just for a
Okay.
second. I guess it would be considered news to
Mm-hmm.
us at least.
Yeah.
So someone in the N64 group was asking about one of my emulator consoles, and he posted it in r/gaming on Reddit. And basically the comments were filled with you could build this yourself for a lot cheaper, um, which is true. Also, the one thing that was absolutely not true, somebody linked them to one of those $40 Chinese game sticks and said this is the same thing. It's not. It's very much not. But yes, anything I build, anything on Billtendo Labs on my website, anybody that wants to learn how can build. And I am very clear with my customers about that. My customers are the ones that do not want to build it themselves. They just want a plug and play unit from someone that they trust. I'm there for customer service. I'm there for technical support. Um, I thought about going respond, but I've learned I kind of learned my lesson on that a little bit already because of that Discord thing. Yeah, yeah, and you and I were both present for that one, and you know, you can't explain yourself to people that don't care.
As a
Um,
CEO, I strongly suggest against you going on Reddit and trying to correct people talking about your products.
yeah, I don't care. I'm just gonna let it go.
Well, I'm telling you not to, and I'm in charge. So,
Okay, well, I'll listen to you. The only thing that bothered me is someone said I was shady, but that it was I was shady, but Mike, things get to me, man. I
I know.
provide a I provide a service for people that want it. That's all there is to it. I don't sell to soccer moms that don't know any better. You know?
Well, every single day, somebody tells me that Quest 64 is stupid, or that my account is done being funny, or that I'm not accomplishing anything, or that all my time spent on Facebook doing history is just a big waste, and everything I'm doing is meaningless. You just you just gotta shake it off. You're either gonna
Yeah,
do the things you're gonna do, or you're not gonna do them. You listen to the internet, or you're not. I mean, it's not. But just continue on, moving forward.
yep. We're gonna
Dust in
keep
the wind
we're gonna
leaves
keep
the street.
on keeping on.
That's right, buddy.
It's just what we do.
It's good. Do you have it all off your chest now? Do you want to actually go into the show, or do you want to keep talking? I'll give you 45 more seconds or minutes of an unnamed wrestling segment if you'd like.
Uh, I'll just let it go.
I do have new names for your wrestling segment again today, knowing full well that you still won't do the one thing that I asked you to do. So now I've named it BCW, which is Billy Chapetta Wrestling. So it's the BCW minute, that last 2 minutes. That's the new
BC
title.
Dub. BC Dub.
Yep, I'll even let you chant it. BCW minute of 2 minutes. So do you
Okay,
have any wrestling stuff for tonight?
I do.
Okay.
I don't. It's not the most current thing, but what's the guy's name? Chris Valet, that is heavy into the wrestling interviewing. He took the place of
Oh,
Dave.
the Ariel.
Huh?
Meltzer. He took the place of Meltzer.
That, in my opinion, because he's the voice of more a fan, you know?
The guy that like took the chops from Gunther and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. I didn't know his name, but I know his face.
Yeah. I like his interviews. He's
Mhm.
obviously a really big fan. But he doesn't seem to lean too heavily one way or the other. He respects all wrestlers all
Yeah.
around. Whereas Meltzer's like, every AEW match is a 5-star. WWE hasn't had a 5. He said Kurt Angle's never had a 5-star match. So, what's this guy know? That lost a lot of credibility with me. Anyway, so Chris is interviewing people, and I saw 2 different interviews, and one of them, and so I have a little debate in my head as to who has taken the best Stone Cold Stunner. Now, a lot of people are just going to jump back and say The Rock. Okay, The Rock tried to break Stone Cold, make him laugh by doing the most absolutely insane shit,
Yep.
But in my head, there is a current debate, and I definitely lean a lot more heavily towards one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Have you seen Austin Theories? The
Yes.
bump, yeah, it's great, right? And Austin Theories, like, your boy was like a rocket, but at the same time, Scott Hall took 2
Yeah.
stunners in a row, and on the second one, that dude had to get like 8 feet in the air, and
Yeah.
it was insane. And Scott Hall is, he one of my all time favorites. And this came up in an interview with Chris and Will Sasso that was on Mad TV, who is a huge wrestling fan. He's done stuff in WCW, and I think TNA and AEW as well. I'm not sure. He shows up from time to time. He's wrestled some matches too. But he said he was backstage one time. Oh, in WWE, because it was when Scott Hall took the stunner, and he said they were about to go out, and Scott Hall was about to go out, and he looked at Will Sasso and said, "Hey, Will, you look like a guy." It cracks me up because it's like, you look like a guy, and I say that all the time. He said, "You look like a guy that could do coke and still eat all the time." And he's like, that guy was the funniest guy I ever met. And he's like, I hang out with comedians,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott Hall seems obviously on my list too. The only other person I would add to the best stunner is Mick Foley, Mankind, Cactus Jack. Well, he was because he's one of those guys that he didn't oversell it, but he made it look like it killed him, which is why I liked what Drew did with Priest's chokeslam when we talked about it last.
Yeah,
like Mankind made things look like they crippled him, like they made his body go limp. Not that he like bounced, he just like it just made him jello. I thought that was great because he's already a sack of potatoes. So when a sack of potatoes gets limp, it looks great.
One of the things that give me life in this world is my love of Mankind and my dislike of Hogan, right?
Yeah.
And those two have an ongoing beef because Hogan made comments about Mick Foley, because Hogan put out a book while Mick Foley his book was on the top of the New York Times. And Hogan's book did absolute garbage, whereas Mick Foley was top of the New York Times bestseller list for months, right?
Yeah.
And Hogan's like, well, Mick Foley, while he's never worked out a day in his life, while he's out there, while he's eating, I'm training. While he's sleeping, I'm training. And he said that guy's in terrible shape. I don't know why anybody would want to see him. And Mick Foley's response was, a lot of people that worked with me will tell you that although I'm bloated, I'm in deceptively good shape, which is true. The guy can work, right?
Yeah. He had cardio. He had cardio, and his endurance was great in the ring. His muscle endurance was incredible.
And then he said one of my favorite lines I've ever heard, and he goes, because Hogan said that he didn't have to go out there and prostitute his body just to get fans. And Mick Foley said, I might prostitute my body, but no one I know has ever had to apologize for watching a Mick Foley match,
Yeah,
because Hogan's had some tremendously bad matches.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I dig that. Always dig that.
So that was the BCW 1 minute,
BC Dub. BC
2 minutes that takes 5 minutes. The new segment on the Billtendo show. That's the Billtendo show, brought to you by Billtendo.com and hosted by Billy Chiappetta, Billtendo himself. The Billtendo show, that's where we are right now. And then what we do at this point in the show is we talk about this week's news. Actually, the news has taken over most of our shows at this point, and we don't really do a lot of other things. So let's jump in.
Yeah. Mike,
Billy.
by the way, I've been told by a lot of people that their favorite part is the news, like my wife.
Mhm.
She's like, when y'all get into like your subject of the day, she stops listening. She's like, y'all get too technical and I don't understand what y'all are talking about, but the news I like. And the news came from when we first started. I had tried to do the nerd news on YouTube.
Correct.
And it kind of failed. It wasn't getting any views, but I really liked the idea of it. And you wanted to do news also. And so I just thought that it would work out great. And it does. I don't care if it takes over 90% of the show.
Well, I just like news that spurs conversation.
Yeah.
So starting with news is a good place for me most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy. So the first story I have, this is history for today. I don't usually do my daily history lessons and posts in the show, but it's an important one today. It's April 26th. We're recording this. And 25 years ago, Smash Brothers debuted on the N64 in the Americas. So Super Smash Brothers today.
On this?
In the anniversary. Yeah, that thing behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. My little piece of trivia was, because you're a Legend fan, pardon my burps, I'm drinking the Monster alcohol, in case you've ever seen
Monster. Oh, didn't you send me a picture of one of those and say
Yeah.
they go down easy?
Yeah, they do. And the peach one is really good. And it keeps me loose when I have to listen to you for like 45 minutes plus. So
Wait. You're drinking peach monsters with alcohol.
yeah, peach perfect.
Oh, you're getting real fucking hippy dippy, Mike.
It's 6%, like a beer and a half, Billy.
You look like a dude that shops at Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm. I do not. Those don't exist in Wisconsin, Billy.
Trader Joe's.
Maybe Milwaukee.
We have a great place here. To me it's whole foodish, but my wife would say absolutely not, because it's different. It's owned locally. There's like 5 of them. It's called Adams Fairacre Farm. Oh, it's great. Look at my wife loves eating duck, and she can get fresh duck.
We have a pretty good selection of grocery stores. We have one locally owned store called Walmart, and then I have another one called Aldi's, and then we have Kroger's.
Yeah, well, we're both big fans of Aldi's.
I'm a huge fan of Aldi's. Anyway, back to the news. The Legend of Zelda portion of this was that if you're doing the Hyrule Castle level of Super Smash Bros.,
yes,
that the Maxim Tomato item, the Kirby-centric health item, does not appear on Hyrule Castle, only heart containers from Zelda. So even if you go into the items selection and turn off some items and turn other items on, and you switched every item to the Maxim Tomato from Kirby, when you open capsules and boxes, they just explode and are empty, because the only thing that pops on Hyrule Castle is heart containers. I actually had to explain to somebody today that did not know that heart containers came from Legend of Zelda, and that's in a Nintendo 64 only Facebook group. They said that they thought it was from Smash Brothers. No, and I got to send them a picture of the da-na-na-na holding up the heart container.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's from that game. The one that some people played, that lesser known Zelda game.
I almost got a heart container tattoo over my heart with 3/4 of it full.
That's a good almost story, Billy. I really enjoyed that one.
I do have a Skyloft and Triforce on my leg.
Looks nice. I don't
Huh?
have any tattoos. I have my ears are pierced a shit ton of times.
Mine.
You never get to
too.
see them, but
I have your mom tattooed on my chest.
seen that. All right. Really good. Good history today. We're really getting into it here.
Really good.
The other thing, so Billy and I have this special relationship and we message a lot. What he really likes to do recently is send me, because I'm a mailman, he'll just send me videos of this guy. Yeah, he just goes around and he just talks shit about mailboxes. And he sends me at least one a day, if not more. And it's because his wife now refuses to look at them. So Dallas, if you would please accept the TikToks from Billy, so I don't have to get mailbox texts every day.
Mike,
that'd be great.
I told you I was gonna send you those until you got really fucking annoyed with it. But Dallas does like them. We watch them and laugh together, and then I send them to you.
That's good. I haven't gotten annoyed yet because I just stopped watching them. So see, I can't be annoyed by something I don't.
Dude, are you
told
joking?
You today, TikTok illegal now, so.
Mike, I'm gonna make a super cut of all those videos with you, this segment of you talking about it, and post it on YouTube.
Okay. Congratulations on your 3 views. I hope you enjoyed them.
Hey man, I realize people don't watch my shit. That's okay.
I can take a video of me just putting mail in mailboxes, and then you can duo or whatever TikTok calls that.
Stitch.
And it's just me actually using the mailboxes as opposed to talking about them. So you can use one video of me doing my job correctly, and then put that side, stitch it with the guy who just talks about the mailbox.
Will you make me a video of you just using mailboxes? Yeah, normally. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Hey, Mike, do you wear a uniform?
Yeah, I do. I'm a mailman, dude.
Are you in short season yet?
No, I'm still in
on the day.
It's Wisconsin, so it's still. I start my day out by a really huge, like inlet river that goes to a lake. So
it's cold.
The beginning of my even so today it was 60 here, but the beginning of my day is like 30 and 20-mile-an-hour winds. So until I get away from the water. So it's got to be pretty warm in the morning before I wear shorts. I just wear pants and then a t-shirt.
Do you wear
my short sleeve art uniform piece instead?
Do you wear a little USPS ball cap?
Yeah.
Wait. Is it a ball cap or is it one of those old school mailman hats?
No, I have the regular cap like this, but then I also have we have the plastic safari hats still. Like
those are cool.
Yeah, I have those, and then I have like. I don't know, what would you consider like a gardener's hat? Maybe I pin the sides up so it's like Crocodile Dundee. I've got the flaps up on the side and the thing up, and I wear that a lot too.
Yeah,
I wear all the hats, Billy.
Mike, I gotta see a picture of you in uniform, dude.
Okay, it looks like every other mailman. Like we got stripy pants and blue shirts, and got that cotton that wool cotton poly blend that weighs like 45 pounds. Yeah. Anyway, once again, we're derailed. TikTok, the owner said today, after the legislation the other day where Joe Biden said they're going to sign a bill that's going to shut down TikTok or force them to sell to an American company. The owner today, ByteDance, said that they would rather shut down the video sharing app in the United States and then instead of selling it. So more likely than not, they're either going to play chicken with the United States on this or shut the thing down, which won't happen. Somebody will buy it. That it's impossible. That they're not gonna.
Here's the thing: is that I've been seeing tons of stuff online. Whether it's celebrities or just regular people, and then you have like I don't know if it was Newsweek, but it's like journalists are doing stories on people that 100% make their living because they sell a product and people know about it because of TikTok.
Yep.
And to me, there are like, tens of thousands of Americans that are using TikTok and making money. To me, people need to be calling their legislators, which I know they are, saying, hey, y'all quit fucking doing this.
They
because
are, because net neutrality actually got passed again today too. That's not one
get
of our
it
news story, but we're back being completely net neutral again too. So everybody has equal access to the internet. It can't be throttled by one internet company or anything like
right.
that. So we're back. So that's a completely different story. We'll save that till next week because it just happened a few hours ago.
Yeah.
But so that's solid. But yes, you are correct. A lot of Americans make money on TikTok. But ByteDance has zero plans. They have straight come out and said, we are not selling TikTok. We have no plans to do that. Even though people like Soldier Boy or Birdman or whoever have bonded a bunch of money together and said they would buy TikTok, and they're like, no, we don't care. We're not selling it.
Yeah. Some things were abundantly clear when they did the congressional hearings a while back. Number one is that our congressmen and senators do not even have a basic grasp of technology.
Or where Taiwan is.
Yeah, or Singapore.
Or anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere that's not China.
Yeah, they don't know geography either.
Yeah.
Our congressmen and senators might be some of the most uneducated people I've ever seen. Yeah. But that being said, it was very, very clear that the questions they were asking were all pointed towards selling our information to communist China, which TikTok is not doing. However, every single thing they were trying to accuse TikTok of, as far as people's personal information leaking and all of that, has been done by Facebook, by Twitter, by Instagram, by all of them. All the American companies do this shit regularly. But because it's foreign owned, they have a problem with it. They use it as some kind of bargaining chip in a global strategy, and it's something they don't even understand.
And the United States itself only accounts for 5% of ByteDance's overall daily active users. But like you said, despite we're only 5% of the use of we are also 25% of the revenue of the company because, like you pointed out, so many people have tied their future and their financial selves to a video streaming service, which is right in a short term it's fine, but as a long term
right
thing, it's real dumb because any internet fame is flash in the pan style stuff. I completely think that like nobody can make that last 5+ years. Think about the things you thought were funny, like rap battles of history or like E-Bombs World and stuff that looked like it was never going to stop 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. But where is that stuff now? It's dead. Yeah. It's all dead.
Where's rotten.com, Mike?
4chan, 8chan, 19chan, like those places are all like that stuff dies so quickly and replaced by the next thing. The next generation picks
be honest, look how big Vine was. And Vine's gone. TikTok started off as basically Vine. But like some of the people were smart enough to get off of Vine and do other things. Jake and Logan Paul moved to YouTube. You can't tie yourself to any one platform. I sell stuff on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I try to sell stuff on Twitter, but I don't have any Twitter following. I'm not you. You're Twitter famous, Mike.
Yeah. That doesn't mean anything. That's why I don't put any stock in it or try to make money because it means nothing.
Right.
The internet fame is fake as hell. I'm the first one to tell you that that the internet's not a real place. Like it doesn't exist.
Right.
The things I say on the internet are meaningless because they don't go any further than the day I post them. So
hey, I would say that there are some well-read people that think what you say is meaningless.
Thank you. That means a lot to me today on the internet.
I don't know, Mike. Oh, can I do a news story?
You can always do news stories. You think I like pulling 1,000 news stories every time we do
I
this?
actually love the way we do the news, because usually you have all the news stories and then we discuss them.
Yeah. So
So
now you give me a news story and then I'll sit here.
yeah, okay. We're not going to go too deep into it. A month ago, Macari announced that they were dropping all seller fees, the only selling platform on the internet with no seller fees, and it's a disaster.
Correct.
Because I sent you their stock prices the other day, and they have absolutely plummeted in the last month. The problem is, yes, they no longer charge seller fees, but in that same policy update, all of the fees were shifted to the buyer without the buyers knowing. They
Yeah.
also instituted a return for any reason policy, which has led to an abundance of scammers. And scammers are pretty much the only ones buying on Macari. No one will buy on Macari for the most part because they're not paying the fees. I mean, we were looking at things that were $150, and with the fees, it was $215. You
Yeah.
know, it's absolutely insane. And so the buyers are now, and so in a new update, to you, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm
Yeah.
on r/Macari on Reddit because I love Reddit. Um, people are Macari is leaving negative reviews on people's pages and refusing to take them down when customers are saying this seller added multiple fees that they didn't tell me about beforehand. And, people are providing screenshots where they email Macari, and Macari's like, I'm sorry, but we have to leave it because our review process is for all customers and their personal experiences. Now, if that's not bad enough, if you mention, so Macari is, the chats between buyer and seller are heavily monitored.
Correct.
You cannot say hardly anything without getting that message deleted by admin to replace whatever it was you just said. You can't say Facebook, Instagram. You can't name another platform. There's a million things you can't say. Um, and apparently, one of them is you cannot in any way, customer or seller, refer to Macari's new fee policy that the buyer has to pay the fee. Those messages are automatically deleted by Macari.
From both directions. So the
Yes.
seller can't complain about the seller, or the buyer can't complain about the buyer fees.
Nope.
Interesting.
So Macari's making it there. I think they're trying to spin it to where, it's the sellers that are doing this, for these transaction fees and stuff like that. But it's really Macari. Their stock price has plummeted. Every single seller on Macari, um, that are members of r/Macari. Sorry.
Do you need some Monster
No, I'll have
beef
some Red Bull.
peach? Okay.
Anyway, consistently across the Reddit, everyone has reported since the policy change and new fees have shifted to the buyers that they're not getting very many sales, if any at all. There are people that are like, I was selling 20 items a day and I'm selling one a day now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I posted on Twitter and more dragging me saying that everybody will adjust and the market will fix itself. That you're spending, that you just ask for cheaper prices on stuff and then it'll all even, it'll be the same price. I'm like, yeah, you guys keep saying that, but I'm just like, I am one of a million normal customers that can easily just shift to eBay only. It's so easy. Like
Yep.
I don't even think about it. I'm just gonna do it. Look at me doing it right now. Like I'm buying on eBay. Buy, like people get such an ego and such a head about once again, fake internet things. Like you become a big seller on eBay, or you become a big seller on Mercury, and you think you're infallible. Like this train is never going to stop, and nothing works that way. Nothing.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Especially if reviews are terrible. I mean, that's the
Well,
first thing. I just bought a electric lawnmower. You know, that might take my man card at this point, but
I
I
don't
bought
care.
I bought it because I thought that my wife and kids would use it, and it's already proved to work. They're less afraid of a non-combustion lawnmower, so I win
Well,
this
they're
round. So,
less intimidated, right?
yeah, because it's just push button power.
Yeah,
Like
you
you
just
don't have to
turn it,
do.
you just click a button and it's on.
Yeah,
So that's
and it doesn't have a cord. It's a battery one. I didn't buy
right,
like a plug-in one or something like
right,
that.
right, right. What do you have, a Roy Obi?
No, I
No.
bought one of those Greenworks. We actually bought
Oh,
I was going to get Craftsman because all of our yards are all Craftsman battery powered. But the Craftsman lawns are apparently terrible, which is what I'm getting at here is that all I did was sat and looked at reviews for 45 minutes
yeah,
and then decided like which lawnmower I was going to buy. I'm like, well, you know, I'm going to spend 300, 400 bucks. What am I going to spend it on? And that was, it was
yeah.
super easy. I looked at reviews. It's not hard.
I
We live internet. Like
we had a much bigger yard before we bought this house, and we had a self-propelled push mower, and my kids had such a hard time cutting the grass that I would generally just say screw it, and it would take me only about an hour and a half to cut the entire yard because I just get out there and go to work. And I got offered to buy a little John Deere riding lawnmower for a good price, and I'm like, hey man, now the kids will definitely cut the grass. Well, guess what, Mike? I
now you can
decided I did not want anyone touching my lawnmower, and that's why I still have it 7 years later. I love cutting grass on my riding lawnmower. Nobody here is allowed to cut grass. I just put on my headphones. I bop around listening to music. The only person that ever helps me is when my granddaughter's here. I let her steer.
Yeah. We have a rider too, but we moved into the city from a larger yard in a different city, and it's impractical now. So I have two little barrel push mowers, like the man powered ones from the 60s. That's just a spinning blade, and that's what I've been using to cut my grass for the last 3 years, and it works great. I don't have to worry about anything except sharpening blades. So this is an upgrade. Electric lawnmower was an upgrade for us, but views. That's the point.
Well, we have a small yard too, so it doesn't take me long. As a matter of fact, I get annoyed sometimes that it didn't take long enough because I'm having a good time and I'll do the yard a second time just to mulch it up a little, you know?
Yeah. Or just raise the blade up and just drive around for fun. Yeah.
Yep. I do that. I go zipping around. We have hills and stuff on the side of the yard.
Okay. Good news, Billy. I appreciate your contribution to the show. It means a lot to me.
I'll be contributing.
Thank you. Next news story. Reports that the Switch 2, they're slowly rolling in. People have all sorts of things. But there's a lot of accessory vendors who are saying that the Switch is looking like it's going to not have rails the second time. That the controllers are going to be magnet only, magnetized to the side of the console with no rails. Right now it's magnet and rails. There's a small magnet plus a slide-on rail for the current Switches. A lot of third-party accessory providers are concerned about that, as it will lead to a lot more stuff being whacked off the side of the Switch and probably broken, and then people will be attempting to get product refunds or warranty reimbursements on their products. So
right,
and this may not come to fruition. Everything is,
fluid.
tenuous. Yep. We'll see. But what do you think about the Switch? If you had a Switch and it had no Joy-Con rails, it was just magnets.
I don't know. That makes me a little nervous, to be honest.
I mean, I imagine there'd be some sort of plastic clip or something to secure them once the magnets are in. Like the little white T's at the bottom of the Joy-Con rails that secures it once it's in the rail. There had to be something. It wouldn't just be a magnet. But I also understand that's for ease of use. Snap it on, snap it off.
Right, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a great system. But you know what? If you would have told me 10 years ago Nintendo is coming out with a system that's basically just a screen with snap-on controllers, and they're like this big and they're plastic, I would have been like, that sounds like a piece of shit. People are gonna break those,
And they did, but I mean, it's still
they did, but
done really well. Yeah.
Overall, the Switch is pretty sturdy for what it is.
I agree. So, quick hitter there. Next, Blizzard is skipping BlizzCon this year. So after E3 fell apart, which is the large conglomerate, video game thing, the idea behind that was each of the major development companies and each of the major video game firms could do their own thing. And BlizzCon was already a pretty big one because they do video games. They also do trading cards, and they do all sorts of conventions that you would get in a normal convention, plus being Blizzard, huge video game thing. They decided that it'll probably return in the future, but this year they're just not doing it. So they're going to join up with other conventions and do their pitching at the other game con, like Gamescom, for example, and other worldwide events, and just not do their own. But it's people are taken aback by that, because the idea behind E3 disciplining was so that these events would be stronger and showcase more. That'd be their showcase for the year. And now Blizzard's the first one to be like, we don't care. Conventions are important.
Yeah, well, Blizzard makes a lot of terrible decisions.
They do, but they may be onto something, because Nintendo doesn't do Space World and that stuff anymore either. They just do their
Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, Direct, and then the partner showcases or whatever.
Right. And that works well for them.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They're pretty much free.
Yeah. You don't have to go and smell a bunch of BO and be around a bunch of people, contracting sickness and the other things that come along with going to a bingo hall or going to a convention center or going to any of those things. And I actually don't mind conventions. There's just a lot of there's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. Food vendors, cleaning staff you have to hire to keep the thing going. It's a mess. It's going to a huge sale or garage sale or yard sard or whatever you people call them over there. So it's a big mess. So they just don't want to be part of it anymore. And that's fine. If they plan to return, cool. But they better have something big to return to then, as opposed to just, here's, Diablo 4's update for this year, which is probably what their thing would have been this year anyway. So.
My opinion is I don't really care. I don't care Blizzard's not really my thing. I don't care that they have their own convention. Nintendo has shown that they don't need to do all that. They could just do an online showcase, and good enough. Yep. When all that, when E3
Billy
started,
doesn't care. Sometimes that's all we need to take from news is that Billy doesn't care about it. So.
Well, when E3 started, we didn't have the internet like we do now.
Yep.
And we would read magazines about what happened at E3, So we don't need that now.
It's okay to not care, Billy. You don't need to care about everything. It's
not that I don't. It's not that I don't care. It's more like I feel like it's just time has passed for something like E3 or even BlizzCon. Maybe it was supposed to make something like BlizzCon stronger, but maybe it just exemplifies the reason E3 died to begin with, when people realize that we don't need to do that.
Very plausible. Next thing, talking about Nintendo again. Gary's Mod. Are you familiar with Gary's Mod at all, Billy? Do you know what Gary's Mod is? Do you know what it is? You know it is a little bit?
Yeah, you gotta remind. Oh, Gary's Mod. Reddit or Discord that has tons of mods. And didn't they have to go back and take like a bunch of shit down because Nintendo hit them?
Well, it's a big sandbox. Think of it more like Roblox for adults that uses like Valve characters. So everybody from Team Fortress and Half-Life are all. It's a huge graphics Theft Auto, Roblox style sandbox thing with it has no set features to the game. It's just an open environment that you put things in and you make games out of it. So Face Punch Studios, which is the group that runs that, announced on Steam that they're removing 20 years worth of Nintendo related workshop items for Gary's mod, because Nintendo's, that's what they wanted, which isn't, it's not a huge deal, but they've essentially said, please just don't, like, if you want to help us, don't submit any new Nintendo stuff.
Right.
And go back
delete your old Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, delete your old Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
And it made double news because somebody filed a fake DMCA a while back saying that they were shutting down Gary's mod, and it turned out that that was fake, and now this time it's very real. So they said, you know, this is it. This time they're not going to take a chance a second time. They're just going through all these of stuff and just taking down. I mean, it's just assets. Like, you know, it's like a box that looks like a 1-up brick, or it's a, you know, a hat that looks like Luigi's hat. It's not something that's game breaking. It's just people are used to it. They're used to having those assets now, just like in Roblox, people are used to having, you know, access to Dragon Ball Z characters, and they're used to having Among Us stuff. But at some point that'll all end too. Like if you know, anybody decides they don't want their stuff on these free to play games that are making money residually off of microtransactions and stuff, they'll just pull them. So
yeah. Yep.
So you know, it's not big bad Nintendo. It's just Nintendo doing Nintendo things, and it's not only Nintendo.
Oh no, I thought it was just Nintendo.
Well, it is Nintendo. They're not the first people that have asked these sandbox games to pull assets off of there. Nintendo's not the only company. Other video games have asked, you know, they've asked to be included, but they've also asked to not be included. You know, there's a reason like Nintendo isn't part of Fortnite, but certain video games are, and then they get certain celebrities are, other ones don't want their stuff included, you know. So even though it's a big free environment, there's still a lot of opinions on what should be on there.
Okay, fair enough.
Still Nintendo. 2 new games came to the NSO plus N64 Online. Neither of them were Quest 64. So I got to pitch a fit again the other day. But this time it was Extreme G and Iggy's Wrecking Balls, because everybody was asking for those games, correct?
No.
Right.
Some people might have asked for Iggy's, but not a lot.
So all of my defenses of why things are not, you know, when people are like, why isn't Perfect Dark on there? Well, because Rare owns it. You know, why isn't this thing on there? Because Midway died and now, you know, another company owns it. Are all kind of falling apart because Nintendo's just picking and choosing what games they feel like putting on there. I don't know what their I don't know what the idea is at any point. These are Acclaim games. So, I mean, Acclaim doesn't exist anymore. They scrubbed the Acclaim logo out. There's a company called Throwback that owns the license to Acclaim games now. So they just added a Throwback screen to the games and scrubbed Acclaim's logo out of it. And they're not even like a development company. They're just like a what do you call them? Like a steward, I guess. Kind of like what Pico. Better than Pico. I have a thing against Pico Interactive. We won't go into that today, but they just kind of hold the asset to make sure that it doesn't go dead, whereas Pico is constantly trying to make money on things they didn't create. So that bothers me a lot more. But Iggy's Wrecking Balls, super fun. Definitely as good as Quest 64. Definitely should be on the NSO. More power to Nintendo for putting the games that people are asking for on the system, because Iggy's Wrecking Balls is a more important racing game than Diddy Kong Racing and all that other stuff that nobody plays. So.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, why don't we just put Fighter's Destiny on there while we're at it?
I mean, I'm actually a really big Fighter's Destiny fan, so I thought you knew that about me. It came up in one of our other episodes for best N64 games that nobody talks about. So
yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you and like 6 guys are fans of Fighters Destiny, and that's okay. You know,
Every
be a
time I
fan
post
of
about it, I
it.
get
Just realize
hundreds
there's not a
hundreds
lot
of
of
comments, Billy. Hundreds of comments. Just like when somebody tells me, you and the other 4 people who play Quest 64, and then I have to show them, like, I'm like, that's fine. If that's how you want to do this, I'm just gonna retweet your quote right here, and then you can hear about it if that's what you want. And then I do, and then they find hundreds of people that want to talk about it.
right.
Nobody wants that, Billy. The public likes to be heard.
Yeah,
And the public was not talking about Iggy's wrecking balls.
the public. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, you know the only people that talk about Iggy's wrecking balls are the people trying to get the 296.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't dump on it too much. It's a fun game with a fun mechanic. It's a racing game with platformer stuff, and like it's fun to play, and it'll be fun online. And maybe that's where they're going with all these games, because now Extreme G has online play as well. So they're just focusing on games they think people will play with their friends and continue using the NSO specifically for that thing.
Right.
And that's why they're not doing player games. But there's games people want. I mean, people just want Diddy Kong Racing. People want Quest 64.
Yep.
Yeah.
People want Diddy Kong. People want DK64.
Yep.
People want Quest.
It's proven. The internet has spoken.
It is known.
More Nintendo, still doing news. Paper Mario, 1,000 Year Door is coming out shortly, right?
Yes.
April. I had
so.
month. It's April. It's coming out. I had to do the numbers in my head. So less than a month now. And people are up in arms today because the original 1,000 Year Door on the GameCube ran at 60 frames per second, and the new 1,000 Year Door remake going to be running at 30 frames per second. But there is massive, visual upgrades in the remake, including like high definition assets and whatever else, improving the presentation and improving the lighting and all that stuff. So people are canceling their pre-order on Amazon and stuff like that because they think that it's unplayable if it's at 30 frames per second instead of 60 frames per second, and they don't want to play it like that. And
bro, Banjo-Kazooie was 30 FPS, right?
Max was 30 FPS.
Yeah, and it was far from unplayable.
Yeah. This is not meeting games on the game's own terms, like I was talking about when we were playing Game Boy Color games. If you cannot beat a game on the limitations of the game, the way that the game is set up, then you will never have a good time playing that game. So if you cannot meet the new Paper Mario game at 30 frames per second and be happy with it, then yes, cancel your pre-order. But don't play any Switch games then, or don't, like outside of a handful, just like on the N64, Nintendo focuses on smooth gameplay and good looks combined, not on maximum frames per second and hyper realistic, uncanny valley style graphics. So look somewhere else, especially if you're expecting kind of thing from a Paper Mario game.
Yeah. Well, like Paper Mario is not, say, Xenoblade. You don't have to be moving. It doesn't have to be 60 FPS. What for?
Yeah, it's turn-based combat. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. I don't think people are using their heads clearly. I think everything is a number now. It's a comparison feature. People don't actually want.
Can you quantify enjoyment, Mike?
No, you cannot.
You can't say if my game has this number, and this number, then I will enjoy it.
No, but on top of that, you can't. Even if you can't. This is our opinions, of course. Even if so. Somebody asked me today, how many hours have you played Quest 64? And I said, I don't know. It's not some crazy number. I'm not like a Warframe player or, something where I've put in 20,000 hours. I'm like, it's probably more than I've played a lot of games. And then they asked, well, did you enjoy it? And I said, at times, yeah. But if I knew what the exact number was, I would probably not be happy with it for one reason or another. Either I would think I've wasted too much time on it, and could have been doing more for the community as opposed to playing Quest 64. Or I would think, wow, that's all I've played it. It deserves more time than that. So trying to quantify enjoyment is impossible, especially if you know numbers. It never is better. Like knowing the hard statistics or the hard, specs on a game never helps you. And like, there's no statistic that helps you enjoy a game more.
Right. I was thinking, no, there's no statistic. There's no number that's going to make me enjoy a game more. Unless that number is 10 extra levels to Dark Cloud.
Yes, additional gameplay. But even then, once you play through it once, then what? Then it's up to you. Replay is up to you. Your enjoyment is varied. Maybe you hate the add-on. Maybe it's terrible. One more news story, also an add-on. AEW Fight Forever is adding Samoa Joe to the game. They have promised to continue updating this game, keep adding more fighters, keep adding new modes, keep adding arenas, keep adding new music, and all the things. And they are sticking to their word so far. Samoa Joe will be out shortly, May 8th, I believe.
Will he be able to walk away from frog splashes in the game? That's what I want to know.
I would imagine he will do the walk away from high flying moves.
Right.
It's a great thing.
You know what we failed to mention in the wrestling segment?
What?
Broken Matt Hardy showing up in TNA.
Yes. I have no interest in Broken Matt Hardy whatsoever.
Okay, but it's still interesting because technically he's a free agent right now.
Correct.
Okay, so that's that.
Good. So why I wanted to bring this up is not that I have like feelings about this game. It's an okay game. It's not my favorite wrestling game. But do you think that, so now they're on the 4th season or 5th season of add-ons, which are mostly free, are shooting themselves in the and AEW shooting themselves in the foot with this? Would they be better off doing it like WWE and releasing a new game every year or every second year, as opposed to releasing one game and continuing to upgrade it?
So this is what I think AEW should do. How many years ago did this game come out?
A couple.
Okay. So let's just say
maybe last year. Maybe so it may only be a year. I don't know.
This is where AEW games can get better than WWE games. Okay? Because it's not the greatest wrestling game in the world, but it's not terrible. Right? But they keep adding new things. So why not release a game, update, DLC, update for 3 years, and that gives them a cycle to do functional improvements to the game. And it doesn't put them on that really short development time of 1 year per game, to where they're basically making the same game for 5 years in a row with just an updated roster.
It has been out a year, by the way. I had to go look. June 29th was the release date of last year.
Oh, well, that's fine, man. They can release tons more for it.
I know, but how far or how long? You think 3 years is the correct number?
I think 2 to 3 years. Yes, but then because it gives them, a development cycle of 2 to 3 years instead of a 1 year development cycle per game, and that makes the games either completely the same or so drastically different that people don't want to go from one to the other.
Do you think in doing that, though, that they're going to miss a lot of like system releases and certain sales times? You know what I mean? Games that come out with the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox One sold better because they were out at release when there's limited options for games. By having long-term game development cycles and long upgrades, are you limiting sales as opposed to building a fan base? Would you be getting more fans by doing a new game?
I think, to me, the more you add to a game, the bigger of a fan I become, and the more likely I am to buy the next game.
Okay. a Borderlands fan. I do like the structure that they did it, but it's also a much more spaced out thing. Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2 was, what, 5 or 6 years? It was a whole new system, pretty much. But they did tons of upgrades in between and downloadable content and new missions, and I like that. But I also think that by the time the next game, so I played so much Borderlands 2, doing the updated stuff, that by the time Borderlands 3 came out, even though I was very excited about Borderlands 3, I burnt myself almost instantly on it because I had still been playing so much of the previous game because of the extended life of the game that I didn't even like. It wasn't like a fresh thing. Played 3, it was just new characters. I knew what I was doing, and I played Borderlands 2 for 4 years. I played Borderlands 3 for maybe 4 months tops, and that's including like with friends and stuff. So
Right.
So I am worried about them for that reason.
But let me throw this out there. Immortals, Phoenix Rising.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking love that game, right?
Yep, it was good.
Yep. And what did they do? They released 3 DLCs for one price, basically, and it wasn't expensive. And it basically gave you tons of new content. At first, when I finished that game, I'm like, this is a really good game. I really enjoyed it. I'll probably buy the second one. After they released that DLC that gave you new missions with new characters, even, I was like, this is fucking amazing. And I can't wait for the next game. So I think a certain amount of release builds loyalty.
I agree.
But
Yeah, I mean,
but we haven't heard a single word in over a year or 2 years about a follow-up to that game. Like they said they were making a sequel. I think it sold pretty decently. I don't know why we don't have a sequel. I'll go back and play that game right now.
I still own it. I never finished it the first time. It's not that I didn't like it. I just we're going through like a move and stuff, and
Yeah.
it got sent to the eternal backlog, and it's one of those games where I can't find a reason to finish it, kind of thing.
Oh, dude, if for no other reason than to finish it is the constant narration.
I get it, but most of my Switch gaming is with my kids, so that game has to be for me only, and I just
right.
And there's other games I've been playing. I've been playing lots of Balatro and stuff like that. Other games I can do in small doses.
Mike, I've been playing a mobile game.
Yeah, which is it that the Christ? You told me last week, and I
Bubble Blast. I don't know the name of it. I call it Bubble Blast.
How's that been going for you? You getting real good?
Level 700.
Yeah. Awesome.
And like seems a bit much.
It is a little bit. We can piggyback that before we continue on. Do you how do you feel the state of mobile gaming is right now?
I think it's I don't know. I think mobile games are mostly just mindless, busy games. I know they're not, that there are real mobile games.
I don't think those get nearly as much play though. Like the idea behind a mobile game is small bites, not a full course meal.
You know what? And I told my wife, I was telling her this morning, and I'm like, if I ever, probably the biggest thing I could ever do is create a mobile game like the Bubble Blast and convince people, my friends, hey, if you're going to play a mobile game, play mine. Tell your wife to play mine. At least it benefits someone other than a Chinese company. And she's like, Bill, I think that's a little racist. And I'm like, do you realize that? I said, have you ever heard of Tencent? And she's like, no. And I'm like, do you realize that they're the second largest gaming company in the world? And she's like, no, who are they? And I'm like, they make 90% of the mobile games out there. And it's a Chinese company. I wasn't being racist. I was stating a fact. You're not,
Yeah.
So, but she didn't even know who Tencent was.
I mean, a lot of people probably don't, because you don't realize every one of those individual developers who releases a game, even though they are under the umbrella of Tencent, they all look like something different. They all look like their own entity. Right. So
yes. Yeah, there's like 1,000 different game companies that are all Tencent.
Yeah.
Yep, but that's fucking smart. I mean, you don't get to be like the second largest gaming company in the world if you're not doing something smart, and people don't even know your name.
Yeah, it's the biggest freedom too, because then you don't suffer backlash for bad games because it's one person that's getting.
You just put out another one, but But
the
seriously,
same game.
man, it would probably be the biggest thing I ever did would be to put out Billtendo's Bubble Blast.
You know, you could even go the other direction and just find one of these games, the Bubble Blast you're playing, and contact the person and be like, hey, I'll promote your game for free on my shows and on my thing, and they'll give you a portion of the game's profit for kickback for advertising. So if you are really passionate about the game, there are all sorts of YouTubers and TikTokers who use their commercial time to talk about a very specific mobile game and make their money in that way. William.
Well, nobody wants to sponsor me for shit, Mike.
You're not trying hard enough, Billy.
I know. Some people push hard. Some people just let things happen. I'm a let things happen guy. Maybe I should try pushing hard.
That's how I let this entire show go and be done without us ever getting topic, which is becoming a brand new thing that we.
No, but you know what? That's fine. We'll save the topic for another time.
Yeah, for the next time we skip through all of the topic and go just straight to whatever we're talking about anyway. So that's the show, everybody. Billy, at the end of the show, we talk about what we learned. What did you learn today?
I learned that you wear a male uniform and you have 3 different male hats. One like Crocodile Dundee, a baseball cap, and the blue plastic safari hat.
It's white. It's a white plastic safari.
Oh, it's white. I thought you said blue. Maybe you didn't say the color.
The uniform's blue.
I was just in my head. What did you learn, Mike?
I didn't really learn this, but this is maybe a shocking truth for our people. While we were on the air today, Billy sent me an unsolicited picture of his wood during the show, and I didn't ask for it at all. That's what unsolicited means, and it really affected me for the last hour. So
I'm building a floating desk. It's ambrosia maple.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you need to sleep at night, Billy. I just didn't ask for a picture of the wood, and you're like, "Here's 2 pictures of my wood," and I didn't want it.
A before and after.
Yep.
Once before it was ready, and now when it's ready, son.
It's ready. Yep.
So it's ready to do work.
Yep. Talking about how hard it was and how smooth it was, and I just wasn't into it, and then it really threw off the beginning of the show for me.
Well, Mike, I spent almost 30 years as a carpenter, and I don't know what it is, but I think at some point, even though I don't do carpentry or project management anymore, I left all that behind to concentrate on video games, and that's gone well. There's still something in me that wants to build things, and so I'm lucky enough that my company takes care of me to the extent where when I feel the need to build things, I can choose a project that I really want to do and that I'm going to enjoy doing. I got to order some new tools for this. Ooh, yeah.
I'm happy for you, Billy. In the words of our new favorite Fallout show, which was part of the thing, I'm sure that working on things with new tools makes your cock explode or whatever. So
it might. I don't know.
Yeah, pop like a pimple.
Like a pimple. Yeah, it'll pop right open, right off. Yep.
Billy, this has been lots of fun. I really look forward to our weekly chats.
Me too.
I hope that next week you don't send me pictures beforehand so I can perform at my peak.
Were you so distracted?
I was. It really threw me off.
Wood?
Yep. I've been thinking about it for the last hour. I'm gonna go take a nap.
Fucking bet you have, boy.
Yeah.
All right.
William, have a good night with your wood. All our listeners, thank you for tuning in as always. This is the Billtendo Show brought to you by Billtendo. This is Billy's show, Billtendo. And when you come to our show next week, it'll always be Billtendo and his show sponsored by Billtendo. So you come for consistency and then you stay for whatever else. So.
This is Mike's show. Mm-hmm. That's what he's going to say on the thumbnail. No, did you see the thumbnail from last week?
I saw it.
All right. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great day.
Enjoy your evening.